There's a new development in the Nick Reiner case today. Let's get to it. Here we go. Welcome, everyone. I am Lady Zelda with Seeing Crime. Today is Wednesday. I had to think. January 7th of 2026. Today, Alan Jackson, who is the attorney Alan Jackson for Nick Reiner, withdrew from the case. Now, does that surprise me? Not really, but I want to look into it. A couple of things that he made some very bold statements, as in expressions. You can bank on it, print that. He says that the true story definitely will be coming out, paraphrasing that. And also that, well, he feels that Nick didn't do this, that he's not guilty. Now, I know of Alan Jackson from other cases that I've covered, and specifically this past one of Karen Reed. Now, even though Alan Jackson is very dramatic, I don't believe he says something like that unless he knows something. Unfortunately, Rob and Michelle Reiner received their tickets to paradise, and that was December 14th of 2025. The autopsy reports are very sad and explains how this happened. We're not going to go there. That's not what we're about. So, I'm not law enforcement. I'm not a medical doctor. I am a seer. We're going to forensically get a little deeper into this today because I want to see what's going on with Nick, what has happened, and we go from there. We have the Crime and Shadow, the Cartomancy, a Piatnik deck, and the House of Zelda. We have another really nice Talisman Oracle. We're going to leave that there just in case we need some clarification. I have shuffled beforehand. Let's get started. And you all know, I know you're sitting there going, is that card going to come out? That's interesting. Personally, when I've read the last two times for Nick Reiner, I just keep getting that there was someone else involved, or that there is someone else directing Nick Reiner. There is something going on there. And this, you can see, there's somebody fleeing the scene. Now, of course, Nick was picked up later on in a hotel. It could be him, but I don't think so. We're going to lay that there. Let's say aside from him. Can we say aside from him? Because he did leave. And he did have some stains on him. Now, he could have walked in during. I really want to go down the bunny trail here. He could have walked in during the time this happened. And he could have walked in right after. He could have just been in shock. So I'm not here to decide if he's guilty or not guilty, because he has a right to due process and he has a right to the law. That's not what we're looking for. So this is starting to tell us why Alan Jackson withdrew. And I'm going to say Alan Jackson is very pricey, but he's very good. Let me get a little further here with the cards, and then we'll start putting the pieces to this puzzle together. A sweetheart. Wow. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Yes, they certainly are. We're going to touch base with this in just a minute. I don't believe it's a sweetheart of Nick. I don't believe that to a certain degree, but it could be someone that he knew very, very well. Here's what I'm getting and what I meditated on earlier before the reading, and that is Nick does not have access to the funds from the Reiner estate. And if he did, see, I'm not a lawyer, but if he did, I'm not sure with the status that he has legally if he would be entitled to that. Now, I don't know. Don't come at me. I don't know. But Alan Jackson is very pricey. And I really think that is the primary reason why Alan withdrew. It may not be the total, but it's the primary reason, because he said unfortunate circumstance for Nick. Well, that would be if the well ran dry. If you can't afford it. I mean, Alan he's not going to do this pro bono. I don't see that. This is so, and the fact that a public defender has already been appointed, it depends on what side of the aisle that you're on. Because I do believe that there's a long, hard line between what is going on there and what is not. We know that Nick has had some issues. No shade on him. It happens with a lot of people. But is he not guilty? Did someone else come in? Did someone else come in and do this? We need to know. Now, it may show up as a female. And this right here is saying that lifelong security. Nick is facing life in prison. Secured life. Now, that may be a money card, and he would have been set up for life if he wasn't involved with this, okay? Alan Jackson says he's not guilty. All right. Maybe Alan Jackson is privy to some information that we don't know. And there was a message. See, there's just more to this than meets the eye. And this is going to change directions very quickly, and I think that. I want to draw another one of that. See, there was a plan. And that's what I've always thought. There's a plan. There was a plan. Because going down that bunny trail, Nick would be the easiest one to pin this on, right? He was upset at Conan's Christmas party right before this. What do we need to know? What do we need to know? Wisdom. But just because somebody's upset doesn't mean that they're going to do this. But it was successful. Whoever put their mind to this. Now, again, Nick he has been, see, there's a union there. I don't know. I just feel there's somebody else involved very, very strongly. I can't help it where this is going to go. So the messages that they have right now are under lock and key. There will be light shed on some things very soon. Maybe a surprise. But what I was saying before is many times when reading someone that has very serious diagnosis, I'm going to put it that way, it can show up differently. It can seriously show up differently. But see, this is showing up in a different way as well, because there was a decision, a plan to pull this through, to make sure that this was going to happen, to try to make sure it happened. Did Nick talk to someone else about doing something, and then that someone else took matters into their own hands? Hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. I've seen it. You'd be surprised. See, money has been an issue. Money is definitely an issue right now, and that is for Nick. He showed up in court today with that vest on again. You know what that's to prevent. He said 3 words, "Yes, Your Honor." And the next 30 days are going to be very important. I can see that. And I think Nick is going to have a hard time processing this. Because he's going to, he's obviously and hopefully getting some treatment. But at the same time, there's going to be a new beginning to this case now. Because they've got to start over again. This is the second time that it's been put off, an arraignment. But the next 30 days are important. I want you to watch. Let's get a final word. What's the final word here on the Nick Reiner case? Now that Alan Jackson is off the case. I'm sure he will work with he's not a bad guy. See, this indicates that someone was lurking in the shadows. Do you see this? And there was communication with them, to them. This arm coming out, hand coming out, unidentified. I don't know, my friends. I'll be the first one to admit if I'm wrong. But I'm going to tell you, I don't see it. Falseness. You see that? So my friends, keep watching. Thanks so much for being here. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. I'll come back to you and let you know what's going on. More to come. See you soon.